us too, at the end, you will see who these hardworking people are. We also have with us the chair of Odd Pen.
What's up, beautiful people? This is Lady B Official right now. This is another broadcast for the Hurricane Melissa update. So I just want to let you know this is live. This is live and this is a update. Yes.
That you do day in and day out. We appreciate it. We appreciate you making this space a lot more one that is truly for the entire Jamaican. Is
But
truly
thank you, Tony. I'll be in the other
inclusive.
day.
And so we're going to get started. This will be a shorter briefing. And so the man of the hour,
Evan Thompson will be coming up to give the update, people. Evan Thompson,
come and talk to Jamaica.
Everybody love Evan.
Thank you, and I'm going to try to do this in 7 minutes. Good evening, everyone, here in Jamaica, of course. Minister, I greet you. Mr. Chairman, sir, Mr. Sweeney, good to see you and all distinguished persons here. I greet the media and I greet the people who are watching online and those who are watching on television at this time. What we have facing us is a major Category 5 hurricane that is over the waters of the Caribbean Sea and moving closer and closer to the mainland of Jamaica. It is some distance, over 100 miles to the south of the island at this time, and it is expected, or it has already begun a slight turn toward the northwest. The movement over the past day or so has been westward, moving from southeast of the island to now just southwest of the island. It is moving now to the northwest, which would suggest that it's going to be moving away. It suggests that, but be not fooled, because the projection was that it would turn first to the northwest and then take a turn toward the north and then a turn toward the northeast. So it's making a turn to kind of beeline toward the western part of Jamaica. It is what was projected. Many persons were wondering, how could you possibly predict that the system was going to make a turn like that? Because obviously it is moving toward the west. All our meteorologists were telling you online that it is actually going to be moving toward the west and continue westward. But the truth is there are a number of steering patterns that force the direction of movement of systems like these. And as the models ingest the data, they would suggest where those patterns will exist, where high pressure centers would be and where low pressure troughs would be, where frontal systems would be. And all these have some impact on the direction of movement of systems like Hurricane Melissa. So what was expected is that when there was a break from the high pressure area that was north of Jamaica, when there was a slight break, it would take advantage of that break and move toward the north, because the general motion of a hurricane in this area would be not just west, but a bit north of west while it makes its recurvature and continues to the north. So this is what was expected. There is a little break that it is experiencing, and so it's taking advantage of that break to move toward the north. It just so happens that Jamaica is the place where the break is being experienced. And so with that happening, we are now seeing that turn, and for the system to continue to make its way, keeping itself as much in low pressure areas as possible, because it is itself a low pressure system. So we see on our picture here the center, which we call the eye of the hurricane. Right around it, those areas that are very white are what we call the eye wall of the system. Then there are those inner bands, and then wider outer bands, or spiral bands, or feeder bands as they're referred to. These take the moisture, as you see, from the southern part of the Caribbean, moving it into the system, and so it keeps it generating. And you know, they are very warm waters of the Caribbean Sea that all our tourists always flock Jamaica to experience. Looking at the image here now, we see again a satellite imagery showing the cloud mass and the storm, the hurricane as it is, but these dots actually are showing where lots of lightning storms have been detected. So there is lots of lightning that's occurring within the system, and we see that the central part where the eye is located is one of the main areas where there is a lot of activity, heavy thunderstorms. There is torrential rainfall, but there is so much activity in the clouds that it's producing this kind of lightning. Here we see a forecast of the track of this system. First we see how it has moved so far, moving from east to west over the waters to the south. And then as it makes its turn, which is what we are experiencing at this time, the center of the system has started to make a turn, although it appears that it had moved a little bit past the Negril Point, which is our westernmost point of Jamaica. But as I said, recurving to the northeast, and so moving across the island of Jamaica. It's expected to make impact somewhere in the eastern part of Westmoreland, or extreme west of St. Elizabeth. So near to that border of Westmoreland and St. Elizabeth is where it's expected to make its what we call the landfall. There are some terms that we need to deal with. In this case, we have a landfall. In the case of Beryl of last year, we did not have a landfall because the eye did not cross the coast. But being so close to the coast, with us coming into contact with the eye wall, it was considered a direct hit. So it's a hit, but it's not a landfall. This case is both a hit and a landfall, because that center is actually crossing the coast of Jamaica. So a little bit more education, Minister. So it's moving across the island, and we expect that it will make its exit from the island somewhere in the vicinity of Trelawney, St. Anne.
Please don't say Hanover.
As it moves off the north coast. Now, in that time, of course, we do expect that Jamaica will experience significant impacts of this hurricane.
Okay,
it will
so
be a serious
changing
event,
the
because
trajectory.
this is what we have captured from the radar that's operating in Jamaica. With the showers, you can see some of the shower bands that are already being experienced over sections of Jamaica. The southern part of the island, as well as in the west, we experience quite a few of those bands, and those have been producing rainfall over sections of the island. We've also begun to experience some of the tropical storm force winds, mainly over southern parts of the country, as the system is to the south. But as it moves closer to us, we'll see more of that kind of weather, more of the rainfall as we move into the bands of rain that are surrounding the system. And as we experience more of the tropical storm force winds that surround it moving toward the north, we are going to experience more of that over the next day or two. By tomorrow morning, that's when we expect that center to be making its way to the east, to the coastline. So this is our forecast track. The center of the system, as a major hurricane, will continue to move toward the coastline, and then by tomorrow morning, we expect that it will be making landfall. The exact point, we can't really tell you for sure, but as I said, most likely eastern Westmoreland, western St. Elizabeth, and then it will continue its way across the island. By late in the day, by evening hours, we are expecting to see that center, still a major hurricane, moving off the coast. Earlier in our previous press briefing, I did indicate that although I told you what the wind speeds would have been expected to be when it makes landfall, but I indicated that it would have been Category 4. On further review, it would be a Category 5 hurricane making landfall in the southwest, and this is according to the current projections. So it will move across, starting as a Category 5, but then reducing in intensity as it moves toward the north coast, and then it would make its exit and head toward the eastern part of Cuba. That's the forecast track. Here we see an image that indicates somewhat where the peak storm surge would occur. with the hurricanes, although you have the flooding that occurs because of the rainfall, we also have flooding that comes in coastal areas that is driven by the wind on the waves of the sea. So the wind actually pushes the water of the sea onto the land, and that is what creates storm surge for those residents who live in coastal areas. Of course, if there is an inlet or a bay, that is usually the areas where the storm surge is most impactful. And so in the areas of Black River, Alligator Pond, I believe, will experience some amount of storm surge. Here you see a closer picture of that area, and you see that it does extend somewhat inland. So we have to be careful about if we are in that general area of St. Elizabeth, where it would be just east of the center of the system as it makes that landfall.
Wow.
So these images show where those storm surges are likely to be most significant. Here now we look at the rainfall forecast for the 4 days going up to the 31st of October. And here we see that mostly central and eastern parishes would be inundated by the heaviest rainfall that would get up to 30 inches. We're talking about 750 millimeters of rainfall. We're not accustomed to measuring that. I'm not even too sure if our rain gauges will fully be able to deal with that kind of capacity before they are renewed. But we, of course, will make every effort to provide the best data after the event as possible. But here we see the heavy rainfall producing significant flooding, and this will be over most of the island. The other areas of the island going toward the western end would actually be receiving more of the rainfall as well, but because the heaviest rainfall that is associated with this hurricane is going to be to the right side of the eye as it makes its way across Jamaica. So we're likely to see more of the flooding on the right side, on the central and eastern parishes, more so than in the extreme west, where we would then be on the left of the center of the system. That is basically the presentation at this time, and I'm sure Minister will accommodate some questions right afterwards.
Thank you so much, Evan. Any questions from media in the room? No questions. So I'm going to ask the questions since no one has questions. Evan, tonight, what should we expect? Again, just tell them tonight. There are people who are out there. There's still people doing preparatory work. And we want to know, can they continue to do it? When do they need to come in? And again, when will conditions deteriorate so that no one should be on the road?
Okay, thank you for that question. The conditions will gradually be deteriorating this evening. We have already experienced some of that deterioration over southern parishes. Also in the east, we've experienced an increase in cloud cover, an increase in rainfall over the areas, and more intense rainfall taking place. Originally, it would just be some incidents of light rainfall that occur over sections of the country. Now we're seeing more moderate rainfall occurring over sections of the island. We have not come into that large mass that surrounds the eye yet, but that is what is progressing across Jamaica, and so we expect that the intensity will gradually increase as we go through tonight. We'll also be continuing to experience strong winds, tropical storm force winds moving across the country, mainly over southern parishes first, but then moving over to northern parishes as the center moves closer to the coastline. Also, as we go through the night, we also are expecting that we will have hurricane force winds beginning to impact, starting with the southwestern part of the island and then progressing across to central parishes. We're not expecting that the hurricane force winds will actually get all the way to the eastern end of the island, but tropical storm force winds will continue. The hurricane force winds extend only 45 kilometers or 30 miles from the center of the system. So if you're outside of say 50 kilometers from that center as it moves, your experience is going to be mostly tropical storm force winds. Don't take it too lightly. That can also produce quite a bit of damage, and the rainfall that's associated with the system will still be very much that you could have flooding in any area of this country. So expect all of that as we go through the night. The hurricane conditions will get, of course, increasingly intense as we get into the morning hours of Tuesday.
Ah, boy.
Thank you very much, Evan. I don't see any other questions. You've heard it. It's still Category 5. Oh, there is one question. Can we get the microphone to someone who never asks questions?
She wants questions. Nobody asking any questions.
Mic check. There we go. Evening, everybody. Mahiri Stewart, Nationwide News. In terms of the path that this hurricane is taking, we know what to expect when it impacts Jamaica. But what's Melissa going to do after it passes Jamaica?
Okay, that's a good question. And actually, because we are our brother's keepers and we have a number of neighbors in the Caribbean area that we need to pay attention to and also, keep their interests at heart. It's going to be moving really toward eastern Cuba as long as it continues on the path that it is projected right now. So after moving over our northern coastline, it is expected to continue over the waters between Cuba and Jamaica. There's only 90 miles of space there, so it will move quickly through that area. I should have pointed out that the speed of forward movement is going to be increasing as the center moves toward Jamaica's southern coastline and while it moves over Jamaica. So it will move a little bit faster than it has been. But it will continue to move, and then it will get to southeastern Cuba. And then it is expected to continue over the southeastern islands of the Bahamas. At that time, it should still be a hurricane, but it might not be a major hurricane at that time, having been reduced in strength by moving over the two land masses, both Jamaica and eastern Cuba. But it will move over southeastern Bahamas and then continue over the Atlantic, possibly moving close to Bermuda all the way out in the Atlantic afterwards.
Check again. So when it comes over the country, you said earlier that it's going to be affected by not being over the waters. But once it comes over our land and goes back into the waters, is it going to then re-energize as it goes towards Cuba?
Yes, that would happen, but as I said, it's really only 90 miles of water, and so the increase may not be that significant before it gets to Cuba. And then it would exit Cuba and then pick up more speed with much more water area than land area as it goes through the Bahamas and over into the Atlantic. It may pick up a little bit more strength, but then it would be again moving into cooler waters at this time where it wouldn't be able to get much stronger. We're not expecting it to again regain Category 5 hurricane force. Thank you.
Thank you, Evan. Earlier we were doing longitude and latitude, and we heard a word from Evan that I'm not used to hearing, and so I had to look it up using AI, of course, and it was recurvature. He said it many times, recurvature, so I had to look it up. It's a change in the path of a tropical cyclone from a generally west to northwest track. So remember, it was going west, and then it moves then to a northeast or eastward track. So that's what recurvature is. So it was going to the west, but now it's going to turn and go towards the east. So thank you very much for teaching me another meteorological term today on all of Jamaica, that term. And so now we are going to go to the other man of the hour, or Minister of Local Government and Community Development,
Desmond McKenzie,
the man who is responsible for disaster response and who does a tremendous job of it. He is non-stop. He is here through the night, all through the day. Minister Mackenzie, I do not know how you do it, but you continue to serve this country, and we're very grateful for it. And so please tell us where we are with everything under your purview.
All right, let's listen to Desmond Mackenzie with the updates.
Thank you, Minister. You have been doing a good job yourself. Acknowledge my colleague who just walked in, there's a fine for being late.
Yeah.
And to
He said there's a
acknowledge
fine
the
for being late.
members of the support team, the JDF, the police, the Jamaica Fire Brigade, the Red Cross, and all the other entities, chairman of the board, members of the media. I want to start off by giving some updates as it relates to the operations of the Jamaica Public Service Company.
All right,
And as
JPSCO.
you have been told by Mr. Thompson that the southern part of the island is experiencing some challenges as we speak. Now, this update that has been provided to our center downstairs, and I want to make the point that all the information that is pertinent to the ongoing hurricane comes directly out of the ODPEM. So when we give the information, it is not hearsay or faked information. It is the information that has been gathered by the team, and each entity, for instance, all the utilities are here, both telephone, water, and light. So when we speak with a certain level of authority. A total of some 50,000 persons are without light in the
What?
following parishes as we speak: Portland,
Already?
St. Thomas, St. Elizabeth, Manchester. Approximately 40,000 persons in the western end of the island
Yeah.
are presently without power. And there are 4,000 in the eastern part of the island, and another 5,000 without light in central Jamaica. Transmission
gone
lines
already.
are out in Magati and Porous as a result of down power lines and poles in some instances. The Jamaica Fire Brigade reports a number of trees in some areas they have received reports, and they have a team out there removing the fallen trees, and with support in some instances from members of the community. You remember earlier this morning, the Prime Minister did indicate that the National Solid Waste Management Authority is on the road, and they are a part of that team island-wide that is helping to remove fallen trees right across the island.
Okay.
The Red Cross reported that at Veer Technical High School, approximately 300 persons are at the shelter, and the concerns that we have is that in short order, and I guess by now, the shelter would have reached its maximum capacity, and steps are being made to house persons seeking shelter at a different location. Just want to again remind persons going to our shelters to take your medication, walk with some biscuit for the first couple of hours, some water to make yourself
Biscuit.
comfortable. And
You
it
said
is important
biscuit.
that your personal documents, important documents, are well secured. The issue of shelters, ladies and gentlemen, Jamaicans, has become more pronounced because during our briefing meeting with the ODPEM and various persons, it was brought to my attention that the new wing of a transitional center at King Street, the Desmond Mackenzie Center, we'll have to activate that because the work of the police and the team on the ground has brought in more persons off the streets in the shelters, and that is
Okay.
very commendable.
Very
We are
good.
seeing an increase over the last couple of hours of persons responding and have gone into the shelters which is good, but we still have a few that is still
out there.
out on the road. I want to address some concerns around shelters that was brought to our attention concerning the Milesville area in southeast St. Elizabeth, and the fact that complaints were made about those shelters. I want to make it clear, ladies and gentlemen, that the shelters are provided for the needs of those who want to go to the shelters.
Right.
There are no other considerations that are given when we open the shelters. So I don't want anybody to create the narrative that you have to be aligned one way or the other to access the shelters. And there seems to be some concerns raised about the operations of these shelters. So I want to advise that all the shelters in Southwest St. Elizabeth, the Milesville division, are in operation, and the Southeast, and that they have been provided with the requisite items to afford for the smooth operation of the shelters. We are in constant touch with our shelter managers across the island, and I know, and I want to say this, as soon as the conditions start to deteriorate in certain areas, the difficulty is going to show in making contact in the way that we would want the contact to be made. We have a very effective radio telecommunication system which is manned by the Jamaica Fire Brigade, and that system is up and running. It is a part of the JICA program that the government of Japan and the government of Jamaica has put in and has made us very efficient, and it is a system that the police has tied in, and all the major stakeholders across the country has access to the system. So our shelters are up and running, and I want to say to Jamaicans that I'm encouraging you you still have a little window to go into the shelters because it is important. There are also complaints about Ochoreosai. That matter has been dealt with. And I want to thank the many concerned Jamaicans who continue to send me messages about the operations of shelters. And I really want to thank them and say how much it is appreciated. I gave an update this morning on the state of our shelters, and I did indicate that of the 880 odd shelters, so far 133 shelters are in operation.
Okay, good.
The shelters are available, but so far only 133 of these shelters are fully operated with persons in there. The parishes of St. Mary, St. Anne, and Hanover are still 3 parishes that have no one in any of the shelters. The shelters in Hanover should be seeing people now, because based on Evans' forecast, places like Lucy, Chester Castle, other areas will face challenges, and I want to urge persons in these parishes to get to high ground as quickly as possible. Clarendon continue to lead the way. So far their numbers are 517, St. Catherine 254, St. Thomas 310, Trelawney 156, Portland 295, St. Elizabeth 182. I guess based on the other information coming in, that we will see an increase in the numbers of Jamaicans going to the shelters. As I said earlier on today, it is anticipated that more than 40 to 50,000 Jamaicans will be evacuated from certain areas, and we are expecting that number to grow. I want to again emphasize the importance of sticking to genuine information. Almost every minute now, there is something out there in social media that has nothing to do with what is taking place. There is concerns that persons who genuinely wants to go to shelters are being convinced by others that it makes no sense that they go to the shelters. And many people have been told that you are safer at home than in our shelters. My first experience of a major hurricane at this level was Matthew in 2016, just shortly after I became the minister. And it was a testing time. Fortunately, Matthew changed course. But over the years, we have developed a system to improve the quality of our shelters. And I will not deny that some of our shelters might not meet the expectations of Jamaicans. I've said it before, the shelters are not a five-star hotel. 90% of our shelters are schools,
Right.
which were not really built for that purpose. And over the years, we have converted some of our shelters, some of the schools, into proper shelters. And we'll be rolling out over the next couple of years, starting next year, to improve on our shelters, because we are looking at the changes that are taking place in terms of our climate-related issues. And therefore, as a country, as a government, we have to move, and we have to make the kind of investment that will ensure that our citizens are comfortable in what we say and will respond to the issues when it arises. So, am I feeling better? Still not feeling better. When I look at Westmoreland, again, here's a parish that flooding is the norm. Now we are expecting excess rainfall, record high rainfall. So it means that flooding will become an issue. There's a community in Westmoreland, McNeil Lands, which for me is a major issue. And if anybody there is listening, I want to urge persons, to encourage you to leave these areas and find a place where you will be safer. It makes no sense. And in closing, I want to, again, as I have been doing since these briefings have started, it is better to take that step than to pay that price. Don't worry. This government is committed to work with every single Jamaican after the passage of Melissa to help to restore your way of life, to rebuild. The Prime Minister spoke about the various layers of insurance and coverage that an understanding government has put in place over the last 4 years to secure the Jamaican people. And when we meet after these meetings, we look at the way forward. Already we are starting to look at how are we now going to deal with the level of investigation that needs to be done to deal with the issues that will arise following burial. I want to thank the people who are working, the police, the fire brigade, the army, our disaster coordinators, our members of parliament, our councillors, and I want to say this. I am happy that as a government we recognize the role of the opposition and have engaged the opposition in discussions around the programs that is being undertaken by the government in a response. And we have been open, we have been clear, and if we are wrong, we are bold enough to say we are wrong. But all the decisions that we have taken to safeguard the Jamaican people, we stand by those decisions. It is the Jamaican people that have to work with us now to ensure that we minimize as best as we can whatever the outcome is. Thank you.
You see all the reports. Yes, you see all the reports that he has, and I have to acknowledge the head of ODPEM, Mr. Richard Thompson, who is also working really hard. Thank you, Richard. All right, so up next we have Minister Tufton. I know there are some other questions for Evan Thompson that we got online. They really have questions for you. They want to know more. We'll get to those after Minister Tufton speaks, our Minister of Health and Wellness.
So this is Minister Tufton. He's going to update the people them about the health and wellness aspect of Jamaica. All right?
Understands. And I know he won't charge me. I want to just begin by recognizing my colleagues and other members in the room, the media, and of course the agencies. So a couple of things that re-update. Firstly, I was late because I was on a conference call with the health ministers of the Caribbean region, chaired by the head of CARICOM, who expressed the desire to support, and I gave them an update. And I want to just publicly thank my colleague ministers of health in the Caribbean who have offered to provide support wherever that is needed, including CARFA and CARICOM health ministers. So I got a little delayed because of that conversation. In terms of the updates, health centers remain closed as we had announced, but all hospitals remain open and all are prepared. I have done a number of visits over the past 24 hours or more, visiting some of these institutions, having conversations with the staff, and at the Emergency Control Center in New Kingston, headed by Dr. Dawkins Wright, who is here in the audience. We have had several briefs involving the respective regional health authorities and the hospital heads. And from all that I have seen, we are prepared and ready. There's adequate water storage supplies, adequate food both for staff and patient, adequate medical supplies, a logistics infrastructure which involves our own logistics but also coordination with other agencies like the Fire Brigade and others. And I think generally speaking, there's a staff that is ready and waiting. The message to them is firstly to take care of their family members, ensure that their homes are safe, and then commit themselves to ensuring that over the next number of hours they will commit fully to serving the Jamaican people from a healthcare perspective. So that is in place. We are concerned about a few hospitals that are on the coastline. So Noel Homes in Hanover, Black River in particular, in St. Elizabeth because of where the storm will enter the country, and Falmouth, Trelawney. We have evacuation plans for those institutions. So today we started some evacuation efforts out of Black River. Fortunately, we just completed a 12-foot seawall on the coastline between the hospital and the sea.
You know, so I have one friend
That is
work
in
at
place, which will
hospital.
provide a buffer and some protection. But based on projections of 13 or more foot waves, we do anticipate a breach of that. So we have moved some of the services out of the hospital further inland and have relocated patients from the ground floor to the second floor and hope that that will suffice for any surge that will take place. The other institutions have evacuation arrangements and will exercise that as the case may be. Each of those institutions, of course, have generator backup power that will take them hopefully through the period that may be downtime until power is restored. The staffing for the surge capacity are in place. Rosters are in place. Doctors, nurses, biomedical engineers, drivers, and porters. All of those are in place to deal with the possibility. Very sad to announce that even though the storm has not yet hit, we have had 3 deaths related to the preparation of the storm. One in Hanover, one in St. Catherine, and the other in St. Elizabeth. And these are due to persons preparing for the storm, unfortunately. Cutting down of trees in particular. In one case, a tree fell on one of the individuals. In St. Elizabeth, he was airlifted, and it's a health worker. He was airlifted to the University Hospital and succumbed to his injuries. Another case in Hanover, the same thing. And another case in St. Catherine. In one of the cases, there was an electrocution, as is reported to me, linked to the cutting down of trees. There have been about 13 other injuries linked to preparation, most of which are linked to persons falling off ladders or rooftops, trying to prepare for the storm. I just want to use the opportunity to urge Jamaicans, firstly, to express condolences to the family members who have lost loved ones. The health system will provide support as necessary to those individuals. But to also urge Jamaicans, we understand the need to prepare, but we urge extreme caution in that preparation. If you need help, call for help. But be careful that you protect yourself even in the preparation, because already we're seeing the tragedy of lives lost. In terms of the challenges around the actual event, which very little can be done between now and early AM, which is when we expect the storm to hit. Outside of the preparation of the institutions, and we urge those home to ensure that they have adequate drinking water, because turbidity can impact quality of water. So to the extent that you can collect your water now while your pipes are still running, please store drinking water.
I don't know if they know what turbidity means.
Foods, please be mindful of that and secure that to the extent that you have not already done so, and there's an opportunity so to do. We are aware that from a health perspective, post the event, there is the risk of contaminated water, contaminated food. The ministry, part of the discussion I had today with the public health team, we have just about 600 of them. These are the officers who go out into the field and visit, retail outlets, wholesalers, institutions, to ensure that the integrity of our food chain is maintained. They, under the law, have the authority to seize and dispose of foods that they suspect is contaminated, because a major consequence, if we get past the storm, is the ill effects of what happens after, and water and food are critical. So I just want to remind retailers, sellers of food, that they should put whatever is necessary in place to ensure that whatever is perishable is protected, but also to say that the team will be out in the field right after to examine and to ensure that the food supply remains intact, and they do have the law on their side to protect consumer safety. But the system will be ready to deal with that, but food-related diseases are very common after these types of events. In terms of our children, today I visited the Bustamante Hospital for Children. The key to our children is to provide them with psychosocial support during this period. The last major event we've had close to this one is 37 years ago, Hurricane Gilbert. And it is a frightening experience for those who have not experienced this kind of storm. Wind and rain and flooding and so on. So we want to encourage our parents or adults or guardians to give our children some extra support, and where they need help, please give them that support. Guide them as it relates to the after event exposure to water. They're always going to be tempted to go outside and play into the puddles of water, which oftentimes may be contaminated because of the runoff. Solid waste will be an issue naturally, because people throw things all over. The water will bring it to the lowest point, and there will be a concentration of pollutants within that particular environment and space. The other issue is the mental health challenge within our society coming out of the trauma related to this. There are many persons who will be anxious, would be uncertain, be scared. We are beefing up our mental health facility. Just to remind you of our helpline, 888 New Life. That's 888-639-5433 and 876-838-4897. We're encouraging persons to use the lines if you need to talk to someone. We have members manning those lines on standby, and will provide whatever support that we can give. There are vulnerable populations in the society that we are mindful of. The older population who are chronically ill, those who require medication for their hypertension, diabetes, other forms of chronic illnesses. The NHF, I've had a meeting with the NHF. They are prepared to provide information and support. They're also prepared to deliver medication once the storm would have passed, and we're putting in place some creative ways to maneuver the obstacles that we would likely encounter after the storm. And what we would ask persons to do is to keep in touch using the One Love helpline, 888 One Love, for the vulnerable populations to be given whatever support they can. The final point I'd raise is the issue of persons volunteering to give support. So in disasters of this kind, because of who we are and the generosity of our diaspora, as well as just the globe, there's going to be a lot of offers to provide support. It's going to be important for us to ensure that that support is coordinated and that it is properly organized. Now, I know that ODPM and Minister Mackenzie will provide whatever channels of contributions and the management of that process. As it relates to health, we have put in place a mechanism through our charitable foundation and the National Health Fund to ensure that we are able to guide the type of support that may be needed in the immediate aftermath, the logistics of that support in terms of coming in, where it is stored, how it is distributed, because you can end up tripping over yourselves because everybody wants to help and there's no coordination around that help. So I just want to say that those who are offering to support the restoration from health perspective we will be happy to guide you and to provide you with the appropriate guidance as it relates to that. I want to close by thanking the healthcare workers. They are not unaccustomed to emergencies and to going beyond the call of duty. They have been very resilient and have really demonstrated their commitment to protecting the country. So I want to just use the opportunity on behalf of the government to thank them and to just ask them to continue on this trajectory and that they have our support in delivering and protecting the Jamaican people. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Tufton, for that. You actually answered every question that we had in the chat today. There were mental health questions, what's going on with the hospitals. You've answered everything without us even having to go to questions. So thanks to you and to the Ministry of Health team for all the work that you are doing. I am going to actually stop before the question and answer. I have some questions here that we need to go. Most of them are to you, Evan, that I need to ask. And there's one more I'm getting, Minister Tufton, from you. You'd have heard us speak of the National Emergency Operations Center, which is here. There are a lot of individuals that are there and they're working really, really hard. They're coordinating with the parish coordinators. You see them down there with their radios. They have a lot of equipment where they can easily be deploying resources across the country. They have trained for this. They have worked really hard on this. And so you've been hearing a lot from the ministers, but there are some really great patriots that are here. They've worked really hard for this country. And I just wanted to bring up the lead of some of those entities that are in our Emergency Operations Center here at ODPEM. Of course, I'm going to ask you if you could please stand here so that the cameras can pan to you, because Jamaica wants to know who you all are. And as I say your name, you can come up. And I'm going to probably go in that order. Commissioner Stuart Beckford from the Fire Brigade. Hi, Commissioner. How are you? I know, but the Fire Brigade is going to be absolutely central to any rescue operations that we're going to be doing across the country. And so we want to acknowledge the Fire Brigade team that's downstairs in our Emergency Operations Center. We also have Marilyn McDonald, Manager, Community Renewal for JPS. JPS is also here. So we know when things are down, and JPS is coordinating with us. We have other entities like the NWA and other groups too. And so thank you too and your team for being here. We also have, and you can all stay up here, you don't have to come down. They can pan out to you. We also have Commander Alvin Gale from the Jamaica Defense Force. They are here. You see the JDF gentlemen across the building. They are being led by you, and you're doing a fantastic job and just working to coordinate all the areas that JDF will help with in any type of recovery effort. JDF will be central to it. And so they're already here and doing coordinations from now. We also have Dr. Ellington from the JCF, Superintendent from the JCF. The JCF is here too. They know what's going on. They know where there is danger. They're coordinating. They're getting their troops out as best as possible. The members of the JCF, the police force, will be out. They'll be deployed as necessary. So don't even think about it. I know what some people are thinking about the JCF. They are here. They're monitoring. They're out there and monitoring, and we can divert resources very easily. These are just some of the people that are working downstairs. Mr. Thompson, you should join them. ODPEM cannot do this without ODPEM. ODPEM is really central to all of this. And they all have families. Look at them. They have families. And this is just a few of them. Downstairs is full. It's a lot of people in the room coordinating. And they are here for us. And I would like to also add someone who is not willing to come up. Rohan, come on up. You see Evan here all the time, but Rohan is really doing a lot of work. Rohan is here. He is always here. and he is the one that comes in the room and tells me, okay, the storm is starting to turn, or it's still going west. And so we have up to the minute information right here, and it goes out to the parish coordinators through these lovely people who are here. We also have Dr. Dawkins. Can you join from Minister of Health too? We have a Minister of Health rep here all the time. They come in shifts, but there's always someone from the Minister of Health. We are coordinating. So if we know there's a problem in a particular area and that we need to mobilize resources in a hospital, we can do so. Look at their faces. All working tirelessly for Jamaica, and we want to say thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you all. All right. So, having said that, and thank you again, we are going to go to the questions. And I see some from Emily Shields. I'm going to give you all of yours, Evan, that I have. The first one was, and this is from Emily Shields, she wanted to know that the system, you said that the system is 100 miles away or south of the island. And she asked if it continues to move at 3 miles an hour. Yes, that's very slow. I can walk faster than that. Does that mean it will be about 33.3 hours before it makes landfall? Or how close to land must it be before hurricane force wind is felt? And someone else was asking, why has this moved so slowly? They want a little bit of lesson, meteorological class, on why this would move so slow when we're used to hurricanes moving so fast. Evan?
Evan.
Okay, thank you very much for the questions, Emily. Let me explain, first of all, the reason for the slow movement is that the steering current is weak. Basically, there are some currents in the atmosphere that would generally steer the direction of movement of these systems. And it depends on a lot of the other features that exist at the same time. I spoke earlier about the high pressure centers, the low pressure centers, frontal systems. If they exist, they tend to influence the direction and the speed of movement. So, for instance, if there are two large high pressure areas that are north of the Caribbean area, and there is a frontal system that extends between the two, and they are, if the front is moving toward the east, it would tend to drag that system because it is a low pressure system. If there is nothing that is allowing it or causing it to be steered in that general direction, but you have the high pressure areas above it that are preventing it from moving, then it doesn't get a chance to move northward, which would be the normal recurvature that takes place, but it would continue to move west until it gets that chance to turn. So it really, the hurricanes generally move in that direction toward the west, but to the north, and making that recurvature. But if there is something blocking it, it will keep moving west, but not as decisively because it really wants to move north. And so that kind of explains it. So when it starts to move, it's because it gets that break. It gets a chance to move because what was blocking it is receding or moving out of the area. The next question was about the the 33, yes, the speed of movement, and why is, and does it mean that it will take 33 hours to get here? Really, I did mention it's moving slowly now, but after this turn, it's expected to move much faster as it moves toward the northeast. And that is because, again, the steering current is going to be pulling it in that direction because of another feature that exists that will allow it to be pulled to the north. So if there is a frontal system that is in the area to the north, then because that is there and it is taking advantage of the break between the high pressure systems, then that will pull it faster in the direction. And so it's expected to move faster. I tried to simplify these press briefings because I don't want to get too technical where I lose people who really need the information, but I hope that is made clear to you.
Yeah.
Oh, hurricane winds only extend from the center about 45 kilometers. That's about 30 miles. So when it gets 30 miles from the coastline, that's when you start to feel those winds. And then, of course, it will take some, you have to calculate the speed of movement, and as it moves toward the north, how long you will continue to experience those winds. But the center would have to have passed 30 miles from you again as it moves away before you start to move away from those hurricane force winds being experienced.
Good explanation, Evan.
Thank you very much. I have a question for Minister Tufton. It's on what should pregnant women do if you're in an advanced state of pregnancy and this hurricane is coming. What do you do? Do you head to the hospital? Do you stay home? What do you do? I'm told the answer is to call Minister Tufton. That's what Minister Mackenzie says, but I think there's a better answer to the question.
Okay, so having second-hand experience on this, not direct experience. No, but the first thing we'd advise is that you consult with your physician and allow the physician to guide you. There's still an opportunity so to do. The communication channels are open. So if it's in the public health system, you can call the 888 One Love number. That's a universal number that's available. And if you are in a private arrangement with your physician, then certainly call your physician. Ideally, if you are close to delivering, then the hospitals will make arrangement, or the doctor with the hospital, to house you, so that, assuming any circumstances that require hospital care, there's no need for the logistics of movement. That's, I think, is a standard approach. But the doctor provides the best advice, and I'm not that kind of a doctor, so I wouldn't dare to hazard that kind of advice. I just want to say that it's important that you protect yourself again. We can fix, as doctors, medical doctors that is, we can fix injuries, but we can't fix regret. And so it's important for you to just take care of your families and ensure that extra precaution is taken. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister. Are there any other questions from the media here? Okay. Need the microphone? Anybody has a microphone? We have a question. Microphone. Is it on?
Mike. Okay, great. Good evening, everyone, ministers in the room. My name is Twyla Whelan. I am from the Jamaica Information Service. I have a series of questions, and these questions are not only from me, but from audience members viewing our live stream. So one of the first questions, I believe, would be to ODPEM, and it has to do with the website. It's showing that some sites, some shelters are closed. Is there any clarity that can be provided on this, or is it a case where some of them are up to capacity, or is there a glitch with the system? We just want to be clear. That's the first question.
All right, he's going to answer. We're going to take the series together because we do know that some of our news stations need to break off now.
Well, as you have heard from Minister, not all our listed shelters are open. At this point in time, shelters are open dependent on what is happening. We have a set number that is currently open, roughly 79, and as the system progresses, more persons will go into shelter, so there will be a need for more shelters to be open. So the update is based on the shelters that are open, and we continue to update that listing as the other shelters come on stream.
While I have you, Mr. Thompson, last year during burial, the disaster emergency communication system was particularly critical and very, very helpful in coordinating emergency response. Is it still up and running for
that is up. It's ideal. Minister spoke to that as well, that the system is housed at the ODPEM, and it is currently being manned by the Jamaica Fire Brigade. We have gone through all our protocols in doing our radar check. It's working extensively. So that's a main part of our operation. It's a critical part of our operation, because without communication in times of crisis, you're dead in the water. So we have ensured that that is a mainstay, and that is something that will be used extensively throughout the operation in response to Melissa.
Perfect. And finally, from our viewers, they wanted to know what parishes would be first affected. People on the live stream wanted to know which parish the storm is going to affect the most. Mr. Thompson?
Which parishes would be affected the most? All parishes, first of all, will experience some impact from this system. This means heavy rainfall, this means strong winds, hurricane force winds, even affecting sections. The hurricane force winds will be restricted mainly to the western half of the island. But the tropical storm force winds would cover the entire island. And that is only because the hurricane force winds only extend 45 kilometers from the center, and it is moving only over the western part, going as far as St. Anne in the north. So we do not expect that sections of Portland and St. Thomas, Kingston, St. Andrew, St. Catherine would really experience any hurricane force winds at this stage, based on how it is. But the storm surge, again, there are specific areas, and that would be along coastal areas to the right of the center on the southern coastline and to the left of the center on the northern coastline.
Okay, thank you all. There's just one last one, and I'll answer it because Minister had already answered it. It was, how are the evacuation efforts going in places like Rocky Point and Portland Cottage in particular? And those are actually going well. Minister Mackenzie had been monitoring those, and persons were in fact heeding the evacuation orders. And so we are encouraged by that, and we ask others who may not be doing the same to follow suit also. All right, so I don't see any other hands up, and so we are going to close this press briefing now. And I'll just say something. I was on an interview earlier with international media, and they asked me what would Jamaica want to say to the world at this time. And it was a hard question, but there was a flag, and I remembered our flag, and I remembered the colors of the flag, and I remember the black in the flag, which stands for hardship, the green for the beautiful green land that we have, and also the gold, which is for the bright sunshine. And what I said to them was, we are a people that are resilient. We have always had hardships. And today, tomorrow, the day after, as we go through Hurricane Melissa, will be days of hardship. But we know, we have confidence that after this storm, the green land will emerge to us again, and that the sun is going to shine. And so as we go to bed tonight, we know that God is with us. God has always been with us, and He will continue to be with us. And we will pray, and we'll get through this together, and there will be beautiful sunshine after this. Thank you all, and God bless Jamaica, land we love.
Well, gentle people. Oh my goodness, this looked very, very, very serious. And right now I'm gonna look on some clips, because basically they're saying that there has been a lot of changes with regards to the hurricane, right? There's a lot of changes. Let me put this right here. So not that, Noah. All right, so this is the official hurricane website, and as you heard, they had a whole lot of information to give off today, right? So I was thinking of doing a call-in, but probably I could just take videos or pictures of hurricane. I'm still gonna be surfing the internet to see, but just a recap on the presentation. So they have said the hurricane has now moved. The directions has changed to northwest, and then it's gonna go to northeast. So it's going west of the island. So the western part of the island would be, let me go ahead and pull up my Zoom Earth. The western part of the island would be right here. So this is basically where they're insinuating or where they're projecting that it will be going, right? So this tells you, like this, you can move it to see where it was at a certain time, right? So to see the movement of the hurricane, and if you look at this little icon here, that's what is going on. So this is showing the trajectory of the hurricane, right? So what it is saying now, the original path that it was going, the path has changed, and right now this is where it is going to be, right? So if you look at this right here, at this time it is 175 miles per hour. It's a category 5, like the highest category it can be. All right. Yesterday I was on Gage Live. Last night I was on Gage Live, and Gage was very scared. Gage, the artist, because he was saying that where he stay at, he has a lot of glass windows. So, but anyway, right here, so basically Hurricane Melissa, this is the path that they predict right now, and they're saying that it's gonna go right across the northwest of Jamaica, right? So let me show you when northwest there, right here. So it'll go across here. So Westmoreland, this is St. Elizabeth. Let me see if I see what I do. All right, so here, so this is St. Elizabeth, right? And this is Cambridge. This is Montego Bay area, St. James, right? But if you look at these two lines right here, this is showing that even though it's gonna be passing over this section, it is gonna be, the winds are gonna expand outwards. I think what name say, Evan Thompson said 30 miles or 45 kilometers outwards, you're gonna be feeling hurricane force winds. So basically it's still gonna be a category 4 hurricane, but right now, instead of it going to the east of Jamaica, instead of it passing over the east of Jamaica, it is now gonna be passing over the northwest. So right here, so down at the Montego Bay St. James area, it'll go really, really impact. So it look like say Kingston not gonna get nothing much. It's gonna get something, but it's not gonna be as bad as how they had predicted it earlier, right? And then it's gonna go up through to Cuba right there. And these are some small islands right here. So the Bahamas. These are the Bahamas islands right here. So, right? So all these islands are under hurricane warning. And this eastern part of Cuba, the tail end part of Cuba, because as we know, Cuba is, this part of Cuba is 90 miles from Jamaica. So that part is gonna get, is under hurricane warning as well, right? So because this is so close to the forecasted direction, this is under hurricane warning, this area right here. Now Turks and Caicos is under tropical storm watch, and this is the zoom earth. I'm telling you, it looks serious. It looked very serious. So at this point, Melissa is rolling at a 175 miles per hour, has a category 5 hurricane. It is very, very, very serious. Let me see if this on, because when I understand, oh, right there. Let's see if I am still live. May I check if I'm still live? Oh, yeah. Oh, me put ads funny. Come I always do my video them and don't put no ads funny and then me they wonder oh me not make no money. So every time I do my video them I go monetize it, I go put ads funny.
Yes.
Over to son. All right. So right now we're gonna look at some let's see what is now. We're gonna look at the NOAA website. So right here is saying as of 5 p.m. Eastern time, hurricane is at 150 knots, 175 miles per hour, and public advisory bulletin. Hurricane Melissa intermediate advisory number. All right, so 26A. So now this is saying it is about 155 kilometers southwest of Kingston. So it's further away from Kingston and it's closer now to the western part of Jamaica. Right? Okay. Changes with this advisory. Okay, so it says winds 175 miles per hour. Still hurricane warning in effect for Jamaica, Cuba, southeastern and central Bahamas. All right. And then we have here hazardous land. Key messages for Melissa can be found in the tropical cyclone discussion. All right. We now have to read all of that. The next advisory is 11 p.m. tonight. So 11 p.m. is the next advisory. Right? So this is the Zoom Earth showing Melissa from the satellite. This is a satellite image and it's live. Let me see what the radar looks like. Map shows more accurate view of rainfall. Snow detected by radar. Radar still being developed. Okay. So this is another view of Melissa. This is the radar view. Not the satellite view. Not the satellite view. So this is the radar. This is showing rainfall. They're showing the cone of uncertainty. Lord Jesus. Cone of uncertainty. What a. All right, now this is showing the wind. Wow. Wind forecast. Look at the wind. Use the wind gust map to see maximum speed. So this is what the wind looks like at this moment. Look at that. That's the wind, you know, people. It's pulling that moisture and just circulating, putting that what you call it, convection current, pulling that convection current, warming up and powering up. See? You see that? All right, me look on temperature now. Okay, so this is what the temperature look like. 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity. Everything has a different color, a different key. Air pressure, low pressure. When it's a low pressure system, then you know it's a hurricane. Like low pressure mean, you know. So the lower the pressure, the more powerful the hurricane. If you notice, the pressure starts going up. Now the hurricane starts dropping because it's now moving over land. So the fact that it's moving over land, it does not have enough moisture to propel it, right? Yeah, that's what's up. All right, that's the same thing Evan was saying. So let's get back to the satellite image. And this is what's up with the Zoom Earth and Hurricane Melissa with respect to the Jamaica trajectory. All right, we're going to look at some video now, see we can see how the preparation are going. We're going to look at some video to see how the preparation is going on here. And Minister Tufton, he said that some people, no, Mackenzie, anyway, one of them said that some people have already lost their lives preparing. Can we see a video where one man, the house tear down, the man dropped down after the house stopping? Oh, Lord Jesus. All right, so let's continue with some more information. Let's continue with some more information. Me like keep this up, keep the Zoom earth up. All right, some more information about this one. Okay, so right now they're saying the power is out for a lot of people. I think they say 500,000 in Portland, St. Thomas, St. Elizabeth, and Manchester. In the east, 4,000. I think they say Kingston 400. Central 5,000. They say tree has fallen. Red Cross is getting themselves together, so when things happen, they're ready to move. There were some concerns with the shelter. They're saying that, no, not there. Desmond McKenzie said that the situation with Ocharias High has now been rectified, and he gave out some numbers of persons who are at the shelters. He said for Clarendon, I don't remember all of them, but Clarendon you had about over 500, St. Thomas over 300, Trelawney over 100. And with the fact that the storm is going in the western end, he is saying that he is compelling that those people in the western side of Jamaica go in the shelters. You understand? People in Lucy, in call out Lucy, because yesterday when I did my live on TikTok, I was talking about Lucy. Lucy there right there, so the piece of wall of Lucy there. So if one little bit of wind just push the rain, it just wash away the wall of the wall. So if there is gonna be any kind of strong ocean currents and what you call it now, not tsunami, but if there's gonna be any strong ocean currents that pushes the water in, then Lucy is going to be affected. All right, yesterday on my TikTok live, I was supposed to put out this video. I'll probably do it later. I was talking about some of those parishes, or all of the parishes them that's going to be affected. So now the focus is gonna be more off of Kingston and St. Andrew, and it's gonna be more on these parishes right here. It's gonna be more on these parishes right here. Okay, so if you notice, this covers, like, this is just one little piece of the western end. I don't know which part here, so, but this covers the western part of Jamaica, right? So parishes, St. James area, St. Ann area, central, Central Jamaica. You have St. Elizabeth, what is Manchester down here, so? And St. Ann, we say St. Ann already, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, all of those are gonna be terribly affected in the event Melissa continue on that same projection. All right, we'll also have where he said that some family who was setting up for the hurricane, they were setting up and there were accidents where they were affected. You understand? And with that being said, like 3 people lost their lives. Somebody drop off a house top, somebody get electrocuted, and somebody by them a cut down tree and look like a tree lit them down. Right? 3 persons lost their lives and other persons were injured. So be cautious, be very, very careful when you are doing your preparation. And that is why initially when they said condolences to the family, when they said prepare for the hurricane, a lot of people wait until it starts. And even they said, like, even my family members, when me remember Gilbert, and when Gilbert started and everything, and when we have a little calmness, we see people from we go out and nail down roof and all of that. Yeah, like even at my house too, I was a little child. That's 37 years ago. Me had the liquor pitney them a time there. But I'm just saying, be very, very careful when you are going out there to be, to batten up and all of that. So, like I said, I was gonna go look to see if I find some videos. Let's see. There's a video with Andrew Olness. Let's see what he is saying.
There is no infrastructure in the region that can withstand a Category 5. There is going to be damage if there's a Category 5. I believe it was Cancun that had a major hit in the last hurricane in Mexico. And we've seen what it did to Puerto Rico and other islands. And those weren't Category 5s. So a Category 5 hurricane will definitely damage roofs. It will definitely compromise infrastructure, even concrete infrastructure. It will scour roads. It will destroy agriculture and vegetation. No doubt it will impact our ports and our airports. A Category 5 would be a really bad disaster. But what I don't want is for Jamaicans to get into a depression that it would be the end of the world. What I want you to always be is positive in your outlook, and that even if the worst comes, we will be able to recover. That's the position. Just to say, and we have been saying, now, there is no infrastructure in the region that can withstand a Category 5. There is going to be damage if there's a Category 5. I believe it was Cancun that had a major hit in the last hurricane in Mexico. And we've seen what it did to Puerto Rico and other islands. And those weren't Category 5s. So a Category 5 hurricane will definitely damage roofs. It will definitely compromise infrastructure, even concrete infrastructure. It will scour roads. It will destroy agriculture and vegetation. No doubt it will impact our ports and our airports. A Category 5 would be a really bad disaster. But what I don't want is for Jamaicans to get into a depression that it would be the end of the world. What I want you to always be is positive in your outlook, and that even if the worst comes, we will be able to recover. That's the position. Just to say, and we have been saying, now, there is no infrastructure in the region that can withstand a Category 5. There is going to be damage if there's a Category 5. I believe it was Cancun that had a major hit in the last hurricane in Mexico. And
yes, so that was Andrew Olness talking about the hurricane. All right, so like I said, that was Andrew Olness briefly talking about the effects of a Category 5 hurricane. All right, so I'm gonna continue. See if I can find some more interesting things. You know, may I search for them first? Monitor and Melissa.
Hey, they are Hey, they are punishments when we don't listen to God, you know. Just like they are blessings when we do listen. You see, when we don't listen to God, we go listen to other people. Or we trust our own intuition. But lean on not your
Take sweet potato.
Game time, baby. Let's go, boy.
So chat. Look at my husband work. Him tie up the mango
Tie
them
up
on
the
the
mango.
tree. He say he not lose the mango them. So he tie them up on the mango tree. Can you believe it? Can you
Let me see
believe
if I
it?
can see this.
So chat. Look at my husband work.
Tie up the mangoes.
Him tie up.
So this is some careful thinking. So you know think the hurricane I go blow off this mango, yeah? Of course hurricane I go blow down that the tree there. Alright, let's move on.
My husband work.
So this is an evacuation order that I think that was given today. You know, so Mr. One News Channel was giving some false news because the man say, the people are telling the Jamaicans to them to stay put. Them not say the part where they had asked them to evacuate and they never evacuate, but know that they're in trouble. Them want them to come and get them. And they are told them that they need to evacuate because once the storm start raging, it's gonna be hard to get people out there. I don't remember what news channel that was. I think it was probably, it may not wrong at ABC, you know, I know Fox at ABC. But let's show this evacuation order and hear what these police officers have to say with regards to the people and which area them there and who for evacuate. It's a short clip, it's not a long clip.
Community, you are asked to leave. This is a flood-prone zone. You are asked to leave. Buses will be provided at 1 p.m. for all members of the community to leave to the Holy Family Primary School. The Holy Family Primary School in the Rockford space. There is no shelter in and around this area. And once you are here, when the storm comes, you will not be assisted to leave. All members of the community, prepare yourself to leave at 1 p.m. today. Bus at the St. Michael's Primary School. You are asked to get ready to leave. This is a flood-prone zone. You are asked to leave.
The man that they walk him not go nowhere.
The community, you are.
So this is evacuation order because I know this. I heard that. And I heard Andrew Olness said he signed the evacuation order, right? So with him signing the evacuation order, why? It's a one that him signed the evacuation order. That shows that he wants people to be safe and they need to evacuate. So, I don't know what L.A. Lewis has said. I could hear what L.A. Lewis has said because from when L.A. Lewis claims that no storm now blow. And let us see what he is saying. All right, so here we have L.A. Lewis. When we finish, I go jump on some other channels, see what I'm going. Let's see what L.A. Lewis has say.
Look at people. Look how much bird out there, people.
Oh, this is probably
Look
from
how much
this
bird
morning.
is out there, people.
Yesterday.
Look the people, and the minister say no. Look at all of the bird that went up on the seafront, people.
They wanted they look rough.
They have to use all 2 foot.
The water look rough, man.
Look how much bird that fly, people.
I don't know
So the
about
bird
water
them there,
that.
people. And the me say so. So the bird them the people fly. So the bird them the people. Look how much bird, people. Look on bird, people.
The sea look rough too.
Look on the bird them. And uno still believe in the ancestors. See the bird, people. Look on the bird them a fly. Look on the bird them over there upon the some people.
We say nobody left.
Look on the bird them. And you people still are gonna believe it.
Okay,
a storm is coming. This upon the seafront, people. And to the seafront look a bit more.
So right now, not much longer they're
people.
going to Kingston or St. Andrew. Most things are probably
80
going
over
to be
there, so
happening
people.
in Westmoreland.
That is 80 over there, so people. You understand? So 80 is 1 hour and couple seconds from Jamaica. So if there was a storm, people, 1 hour and couple seconds away from Jamaica, people, the storm would have reached Jamaica long time, people. So the bird them there fly. And the me say so, people. So bird like crazy fly the people. So I want to say.
Cut off that. Instagram. Oh yeah, me did want to show that video here. Oh, that Facebook. Alright, so this is Instagram. This is a guy. This is a young man showing. It says when strong winds from hurricane militia began threatening the farming district in Flagaman, St. Elizabeth. Now she oblate is something few people would do. He gave up his home so others could sleep, could get a place to rest. Flagaman, a Flagaman. All right, so let me pull up that video there. Let me pull up the video there. Let me pull up the video here. Would you do it? Would you give up your home? Would you give up your home? Let's hear what he has to say. Do you believe this, people? Let me know what you think. The wind strong enough. Oh.
Put up people, me have a few more friends up the road. I put up.
Me never have no
people.
son.
You see, and we're not government, so we need.
This is Caribbean Sea Beach
This man, when me wake up at 9,000 birds, me see a fly, I go up a Portland Hill. The bird, them a show me sign.
Are you leaving?
Yeah!
Where are you going?
Higher ground. Me I go to Portland Hill way bird then there too.
So me I get some food as you can see. Banana and whatever make it cost me have all a little room here to warm up your body.
We are here at Rocky Point in the parish of Clarendon, and it really is a sobering scene here as residents try to secure property.
Yes, because Rocky Point was one of the areas that I named out yesterday about the places that needs to evacuate. Yeah, Rocky Point was one of those places. As a matter of fact, let me pull down the video so I can put it on my YouTube channel. Hold on there. Live replay. Yep. May download it so I can put it on my YouTube channel. And it name out all the places, all the parishes and the areas. But you know, like the Kingston and St. Andrew area, they probably are not going to be as bad as it was projected when Melissa was supposed to go that way. But now Melissa is going to the northwest. All right, let's see.
As well as some of their boats as they anticipate the arrival of Hurricane Melissa.
Well, me just leave me house and me I come look at the boat, and when I come, oh my God, this man behind me, Jogi, Angie, son, bag about 13 away, 17 boat we all up. A man where I dropped the boat said 25,000. We just move the boat from there to put it there, we couldn't afford it. So we have to get help one another and a job. But we know it's a serious storm this is going to affect Rocky Point. I know it.
How did Beryl affect you last year?
I'll know me no recover it yet. I'll know. It's just like about 9 months now me put on my house stop. Furniture them gone. I don't, but me know me I work with it till better, but now it gonna affect me more.
Me no do not be secure. This is not all about house, you know, sir. This is all about life. No house business, no this, sir. This is all about life. So that's why you see me go gather up my stuff them.
What about family and friends here? Is everyone cooperating?
Yes, we are going good. We are going good because see the 19 boat we all up for morning now we dry up in no tractor, nothing. Now we dry up in man's strength. We use to dry up it.
The Jamaica Urban Transit Company has sent transportation for the residents of the area, and some are refusing to go.
Mr. Pernell, and he said he's sending a bus by 1, 2 o'clock for all the disabled people, the old people them, and parents with single mothers with lots of kids. He come last night and give away a phone card, he give away chapalin, and he have lots of mattress and package to give away, and everybody refused to go. They're not leaving their home, he can do more.
Please, mommy, please, pack up the necessary things and come, let's go. Where are we gonna go? Close the shop and come. But yes, so some of them are so stubborn, they don't want to go. It's just like when no one want, and I tell them to leave, and they're not leaving. Because me feel the blunt of 2 hurricane. I was homeless for 5 months and 3 days. I know what it is. We don't take warning, see him lightly. But other persons have ulterior motives, because you know at that time them loot and all them something. But I am appealing to those persons, please to go to the shelter that the government assigned for you to go. Higher ground, they said go to very technical with a little distance from here and it is more safer, and person it still don't want to move.
Why do you think it's safer to stay than to go?
You know, we have to here to watch the boat, because remember the boat is there to travel on the water.
Yes, we can't run left the boat then. We can't run left the boat, because you know say a boat have to go save if anything. You see me? We have to stay close to the boat then. We can't run, we don't have to run, come back, you see me? None of them, make sure me are telling us so they can't tell them. The same social happen in town. And they're vulnerable. None of them can tell me you lose. Me lose house, and me lose this, and me want this, and me want that.
This man, when me wake up at 9,000 birds, me see a fly, I go up a Portland Hill.
Wow, this is very interesting. So basically, when they send the buses for the people, them, some decide
right now,
to go.
It's only who can manage the water, or if we are around to help them, leave them over. It's only so them can get.
This is a long
come
time
over.
video.
Nobody can cross it. It's only who understand it, like a fisherman and a fisherwoman who can swim. If you cannot swim, trust me.
Guys, we are on the main peninsula in Kingston that connects the main airport to the rest of the island. And what we're seeing right now is the wind starting to pick up as that storm system is beginning to make its way here to Jamaica. But there's one big problem that we're seeing here. Take a look. This is the Caribbean Sea already making its way onto this land. And these rocks over here, they were brought in from another part of Jamaica, trying to separate this sea from that peninsula. Now, the problem that we're seeing here today is the wind is going to continue to pick up. And the main fear is that these rocks won't be tall enough to stop this water from overcoming, because this is what's going to happen. If it goes over these rocks, there is no way in and out of the main airport. Guys, we are on the main peninsula in King.
All right, I hear you, bro. This is White House. Let me see the White House camera. Hold on there. Let me see the White House camera, people. TGM Live. To the southwest. Rest Parade. This is downtown Kingston. Me see none with Alpha Tree, Little London, see Jamaica, Little London, Maypen. This is Maypen. What is the man that do out in the? This is one. What is the man do here so with umbrella? A lightning that you know. Let's see. So this is the See Jamaica camera. Let's see. Hold on there. I think this is the Maypen one. I not think Maypen I go get as much. And Negril one may I look for. I want to find the Negril one. We did just see one man out here, so we do one bag of blue. With one bag. Hey man gone. Look like he gone. What that the man when they do out here so? And if a dopey. Must be a dopey or a gunman. I man no find out yet. One man did the right here, so I don't know where he gone. Alright, this is a Maypen. Let me see. Crossroads. Want to see Liquor London. Westmoreland. Want to see Westmoreland. Oh, see Liquor London one, yeah. This is a Liquor London cam. That's a look calm. Hey, whoever do this good, you know, it's like them put up the camera them a different place and then them just monitor it from a location. This person who did this is very smart. Very smart. This is a Liquor London. Not now gone. It's very calm. Very, very calm. Very calm. It's a crossroads. Turns Black River into Ghost Town. Flooding. Oh, this is 1 year ago. Total Hurricane Melissa floods all harbor. Really? All harbor? This is all harbor. After not building them there. Are you ready? Oh.
Which is good. All of the people from this side evacuate already. Normally when you come here in the Wolava Bay, all of here so is filled with fishing boat. A lot of fishing boat along the coast, but now they're evacuated. This house right here, last time I came during burial, this house did flood full of sand. Now look at it now. I think the owner learned their mistake and they evacuate this time and move their stuff. So right now this is Cameron HQ right here. I think they evacuated as well. But look at the HQ. Full with sand. See all of these debris wash up from the ocean into here. You get me? So this is what taking place down here by Olava Bay.
So this is Olava Bay, okay.
It's pouring, raining right now. It's raining really hard right now. Not really hard, but it's raining right now. Look at the sea.
I wonder what kind of camera am I use.
And this is before the hurricane don't reach as yet.
And if a GoPro am I use.
Yeah, man. Just a do now. I update. People them evacuate. People them gone. Which is good. Look at the right now as you can see peeps. The weather actually weathering. I can see Melissa coming across the sea.
You say Melissa come across the sea. So this a start flood.
Where say you good dad? Where say you nah gonna away? Where say yeah? Where say yeah watch your water first, but you nah leave as yet. Me see, yeah, me see you put some sandbag right here, so the sandbag them have to help prevent the. Oh, so you put the sandbag them here for block it out a little. Oh, from yesterday. So if you never start block it from earlier, would have become in. Oh, I'm gonna see you put some at the door as well, so that prevent it from going inside of the house. Oh, you guys are watching this. See this one water taking over right here, so. What? And the hurricane did not reach as yet. So, let us see when Melissa pass through, how things are gonna look for him. Alright? So the house.
Could I, man?
I think him evacuate already still, which is good.
Wow. This is serious. This is serious. Are you thinking about you or us? Don't say what you're about to say. All right. So come on for this one. Wait a minute. Did I have this off the whole time? Oh Jesus. Let me see what else there. Na, 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 na. every single day. All right. Oh, not now going now, so like people evacuate. Okay, people evacuate this. So people evacuate this. So how about this going there, so? You can't do the music. Oh my God. The people, how about the Jamaican people? Yeah, they are right there enjoying life. Jesus. All right, see, bro God. Yeah, I could hear what bro God I say. Something that makes sense.
Of the Sandy Gully. Now, the Sandy Gully was built in the 1960s. That was in response to Hurricane Flora and Charlie, which created massive flooding. And this has been really the spinal main infrastructure for drainage for the entire Kingston and St. Andrew, particularly for St. Andrew, taking water from the hills and carrying it through St. Andrew into the harbour. Now, the infrastructure is aged, as you can see, and some of it is crumbling, but by and large, it is still very functional. Needs to be maintained on a regular basis, needs to be cleaned, but it will still carry a huge volume of water. But there are some areas, as I've said, that are significantly compromised and would pose a challenge. So I've inspected the gully bank coming from Malines Road up to this point, and the inverts are generally in order. The walls are generally in order. There are a few areas, one of which I sent a team yesterday to check, where one of the walls is compromised, and we will try to have that repaired as quickly as possible. We won't be able to do anything now, obviously, but hopefully that compromise won't lead to a total blockage of the area. Further down, there is another area of compromise which we're going to look at. But in spite of its age, it is being challenged by not just persons living on the gully bank, which in this instance, there is a safe distance between the gully and the homes, but it is also challenged on a daily basis by garbage, but other kinds of infrastructure work. In this case, there is a sewage line which runs parallel to the gully, and that has been compromised, and the compromise of that sewage line would have also compromised the walls, the invert, and the walls on the other side. So if you can give viewers a perspective of the damage of this end of the gully. Now, that we are in a period of disaster, when there is likely to be heavy rains, some of the homes that are proximate to this damage could face serious dislocation. I'm told that some persons have already evacuated, but others say they don't have anywhere to go. We'll look into that. We'll see how we can help. But we will mobilize very quickly after the hurricane to ensure that this is repaired. Of course, this is not going to be a simple repair, as you can see, but we will ensure that it is repaired. There is a program to do.
Andrew, big up yourself. All those people, be careful. I'll catch you in another video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know whenever I'm live or whenever I upload a video.